When you were born, it was a while back. I don't know if you remember.
A year or two.
Yeah,
I don't
a year
remember
or two.
anything about it, but yeah.
But here's what happened. Someone gave us a book, and it was about raising kids, and it had this whole thing about getting kids on a schedule. Mm-hmm. We didn't really, whatever. We didn't even read it. You were born, and after about 6 weeks, we were like, this is not good. We're not sleeping, schedule, you're just, baby's crying, no one's sleeping, and all this other stuff. And we kind of remembered, didn't someone tell us this book had a schedule thing? So we read the book. The book now is called Baby Wise. It was something different back then, but it helps you put your baby on a schedule of eat time, sleep time, nap time. And it says if you do this, you will help your child sleep through the night quicker. Mm. And we thought, when we first heard, whatever, but we were motivated.
Yeah, I bet
at the right
were.
time.
Nothing like exhaustion.
Yeah, we didn't know how to do it. And everybody gives you advice when you have a baby. Oh, the baby will just let you know what to do. And it's like, it's a baby. It was weird. But we started implementing it. And by, I think for you, about 10 weeks, you were sleeping through the night.
Wow.
And we were like, this is the greatest thing ever. When your sister was born, we did it right away with her. By 6 weeks, she was sleeping through the night.
Dang.
So it's one of those things. That's the only advice I give to parents. It's like, hey, you don't have to do this, but I would recommend this book because it helps you. And for us, it gave us empowerment. We felt like, okay, we know what we're doing in a way. And because as parents, especially your first child, you don't know what you're doing. You're fearful of everything. But that book gave us wisdom we didn't have and kind of helped direct us to do something. And it really brought a lot of fruit into our lives.
Wow. And
that's the thing we've got to understand. And we're talking about values this month. Values are a way you can take outside source things and say, what's important to me? Implement it in your life, and then you'll see some really good things happen. And we're going to talk about it on today's show.
This is the Thriving Man Podcast with David and Reese Maxwell. These weekly shows are designed to help you remove the confusion from your life and make real progress with your growth. No matter where you are or where you're going, we're here to help you live a life you can be proud of. So welcome to the Thriving Man Podcast.
Welcome to the Thriving Man Podcast, where we help you build a thriving life and conquer your everyday chaos. I'm Reese.
And I'm David.
And today we've been discussing values over the past 2 weeks.
We have.
But here we are at a point where we're looking at how values help us, I guess you would say, navigate the everyday.
Yeah.
What are the practical benefits of values? We've talked about this big stuff, like it's an antidote to aimlessness and an antidote to overwhelm. But okay, it's a Monday. I'm tired.
Yeah.
How are values actually going to help me?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that's the one thing we want to understand. One of the things that values does for your life, and the reason you should have values in your life, is values keep you connected to your purpose. Because like you said, on a Monday morning, you've had a busy weekend, you're tired, you don't want to get out of bed.
Yeah.
You don't feel like doing nothing. Your values are what kind of gets you up and gets you going.
Yeah.
Or you come home, you're tired, you don't want to talk to your kids or your wife or anybody. Your values help you put those feelings aside.
Yeah.
And you say, okay, this is important to me enough that I'm going to give my energy to it.
Yeah. Have you ever felt a disconnect between what you know you care about and is true and what you actually see in front of you and what seems important in the moment?
Oh, yeah.
There's a disconnect there a lot of times.
Yeah.
There's like, this is what matters to me.
Yeah.
However, I'm never going to put anything towards it. I'm just going to focus on this show because I'm really liking this show. You know, that disconnect inevitably happens.
Well, it's like, I want to lose weight and get in shape, but I have a big stash of chocolate chip cookies in my pantry.
Yep.
And it's 10 o'clock on a Friday night and I'm watching TV. Who's going to win? Those chocolate chip cookies
Every
are going
time.
to call. Every time. They're going to win.
Whatever is right in front of you
is
going to win.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it has to do with focus, I think.
It does.
You know, like, yes, in the back of my mind, I know I want to lose weight, but I see these things. They're right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
What values does is it takes that thing in the back of your mind and it brings it right in front of your face.
It does.
So it brings it into your conscious mind. It brings it into your attention, what you are looking at right now. Values, you can think of it as a bridge between the wisdom of God and our everyday life. It kind of takes what God talks about and what is true on this big high level and brings it down and sets it right in front of you so that you can remain in that mindset. Because it's so easy to get distracted.
Well, and it also brings into the point of how am I created? What's my nature? What's important to me? Because what's important to you may be different from what's important to another man. Even with the eternal principles, like, let's say, loving other people. Okay, we all should love other people. The Bible says that. But what does that look like? What does that mean for us?
That's true.
For you, it may be doing acts of service for other people. For you, it could be calling people and just thinking about them, or praying for people, or just being nice to people, or whatever. Everybody has a different way to implement the value that's there. And so what you want to do as a man, when you discover that value, then you start thinking, how did God wire me to implement that value? I don't have to be someone else. But there's things that I can do that take this big principle and make it into the everyday of my life.
Yeah. I'll give an example from my life. I find that sometimes I can have a tendency to get real focused and real serious, and I can almost stay in serious mode. But a very real part of how God wired me, whenever I went through the values worksheet that you guys can get a PDF for, whenever I went through that, I realized, like, wow, I really do value fun, like enjoying life. That's something that I love. And if I'm not careful, I'll get so busy and into work mode that takes a back seat. And so fun is not a fancy eternal principle that everyone has to have as one of their values. It's not. But for me, that's a way that God wired me that I need to remain connected to. Because if I lose focus on it, I'll go to one extreme or the other. You know, I'll either be super busy mode, business all the time, or I'll be like, I don't feel like doing anything. I'm just going to have fun. But values help me remain connected to that in a healthier way. We all need that in our life with those big eternal principles and with those things where, how did God wire you? We need, it's a both and.
Well, and we've talked about this before, but a lot of men will get into that zone where they're grinding, they're doing stuff, and then they may hit that point, usually in their 40s to 50s, to where they realize, I've missed out on a lot of life. And that's when we see them often go nuts. They run away from their family. They hook up with some 22-year-old or whatever. And we call that a midlife crisis. And it's not really a midlife crisis as much as it's them going, I've missed out. Because they didn't know what was important. They didn't live their values. So a lot of times they boomerang to the wrong side. And they're still not living their true values, but they say things like, well, I deserve this. I just want to have fun. I never got to do this. And women can do it too, but we, as men, we see it in men, that midlife crisis where they go buy a Corvette and, whatever, and we think, well, that's kind of weird. Well, what it usually means is they weren't really living a value. And then it came up and they decided, well, I'm just going to live whatever I want. They're still not living their values, but it makes them feel better.
Yeah, it's almost like a person that goes on a diet and then binge eats.
And
neither one is a good setting to stay on. They're both unhealthy, but they just swing from one to the other. We can get caught in that. So values keep us connected to our purpose in a healthy way. But there's another element to it that I think is actually very helpful. Values are a fantastic filter for how you are going to make decisions and navigate your day. There's a natural part of being a human where we don't like saying no. We want to be nice. You know, I mean, God wired us to get along with each other. So like there's an element where if somebody asks you for help or asks you to try this or do this or join this PTO meeting or whatever, that you are like, yeah, I need to do that. But when you look at your values, you can see if it's a yes or no. Because values don't mean you say no to everything. What they mean is you say no to the things that are not in line with what your actual purpose is. You can say yes to things, that's fine. But let's say yes to the right things instead of to everybody that's trying to, get you in their agenda.
Well, and it helps you, as you know your values, you know what fits you better. You know that, okay, if I volunteer for this role, this fits me. But if I volunteer for this role, I'm going to hate it, and I'm going to hate everybody.
Yeah.
And so we may say yes to something that we really know doesn't fit us. But values help you say, that doesn't fit me, or I wouldn't be good at this. It's understanding, like for me, when I did our value exercise, one of the things that really jumped out to me was the desire for freedom. I hate feeling boxed in, and I think it has to do with my creative side. I like to have freedom to do things, especially to pursue creative outlets. And that was interesting for me because I'd never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
I hate red tape. I hate those complicated, like dealing with the government is one of the banes of my existence, because you show up and they're like, do you have form J3561? And I'm like, what is that? Oh, you have to have it. You have to have it in triplicate. And you're like, what? How do we know these things? And so that kind of stuff just grinds me. But I like the ability to say, this is what I'm doing. I'm choosing this. A lot more freedom. I think that's why being an entrepreneur, you kind of desire that. But I know that about myself. So I'm not going to volunteer for something that involves like poring over numbers 8 hours a day. I took accounting in college, and I did okay in it, but I just couldn't imagine doing that every day. And that's where, as we find our value as men, then you can begin to filter things and say, that's not me.
Yeah.
And to be okay with that. That's why if you look at people, a lot of people who are the millionaires, billionaires, they say no to a lot because they know that's not me. I'm not good at that. I'm better at this. And that's what you want to do in your life, because then you don't try everything. And really, when you try more, you're going to fail more.
Yeah. One of the biggest things that Steve Jobs did whenever he got brought back to Apple, because Apple was tanking, is he reduced the number of products, the kinds of products that they sold. It was something crazy, like 30. And he brought it down to like 3 or 4. And he said, like, one of the most important things we can do is say no. It's about much more what we say no to than what we say yes to.
Yeah.
But you don't know what to say no to unless you know what you want to say yes to.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it one more time for the people in the back. You don't know what to say no to unless you know what you're saying yes to.
Yeah.
Let's give a practical example. Let's say your guy friends are going out. It's a night with the bros.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, let's go. And normally Friday night is date night. There's no other opportunity to do it that week. You have to choose. You got one night of the week to be free.
Yeah.
The boys are going out, or you do date night. If you don't have your values, you may think to yourself, well, like, they're going to be making memories. The guys are going to be hanging out. We don't do it that often. So like, I'm going to stick with that. But let's say one of your values is your marriage. Then it's not as much about saying no to your friends as it is I'm saying yes to my wife.
Yeah.
It's about what you're saying yes to. When you have something to say yes to, it gives you the strength to say no to other stuff. Because I'm not going to lie. Things have costs.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't go to the hangout, they may make a funny memory and you're not there. If you don't go, if you don't stay the extra hours at the office every single week like they want you to, you may not get promoted as quickly. There are real costs to saying no. However, when you have something to say yes to, like let's say family, well, then you say, I'm willing to take a hit in this area because this area, that's what I want to put my energy and time towards. So it becomes a good filter to kind of ground you in what matters.
Yeah, and what it does, when you have values, you're saying, these are the things I'm going to choose. Because if you don't choose, somebody will choose for you. If you don't say no, then a lot of times companies will take advantage of you. And hey, we need you to work 10 extra hours. We're not going to pay you anymore. We just want you to work the extra hours just for the fun of it. And now sometimes you may do that to serve, to do something, and that's fine. But when it becomes a regular thing, when it becomes something that's pulling at you, what you're doing is you're allowing the company to choose for you, and you're not choosing for yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's where we have to understand the filter of values helps us know this is a good choice.
Yeah.
This is a bad choice.
Yep.
And you need that because there's a lot of opportunities to choose. And if you don't choose, someone's going to choose for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And it gets you grounded in a lot of times we think the decision's just the decision, mm-hmm. but really there's a whole layer behind it of competing values. Mm-hmm. And so when you have a list of values, you can make that decision in an informed way.
Yeah.
And that's such a powerful tool because the truth is you have the power to say no. You do. But a lot of times we don't have enough motivation to say no, or we don't have the perspective of what saying no should mean.
Well, and when you don't know what to say yes to, you don't know what to say no to.
That's true.
So you just say yes to whatever feels good in the moment. And sometimes in the moment, we don't make the best decisions.
Yeah. And it's nice to know that you're doing what you actually care about. Mm-hmm. In fact, that's the final and probably one of the biggest benefits of values. Values help you keep score.
Yeah.
A lot of times we don't know what game we're playing.
Yeah.
Somebody handed us a ball and said score. Mm-hmm. And you're like, what? Is this like a soccer ball? Is this a football? Yeah. You don't know. You don't have the ground rules because you don't have the boundaries. Yeah, I guess I'd say boundaries because the rules have not been set. You don't know how to win. You don't know how to make score. But when you do know, that empowers you to start scoring. Values are a fantastic scoreboard.
Yeah. Well, it's like I heard a story of kids. I think it was like they were little league. They were playing baseball, and they were in a league where it was a no-score league, where it's just, we're just going to play. But the truth is, all the kids kept score. The kids in their mind, we're keeping score. We're ahead 35-17 or whatever. Mm-hmm. They knew what the score was, especially if they were dominating. They're going to remember the score. Because especially as guys, we want to know the score. Mm-hmm. We want to know, am I winning? Am I losing? Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? And we want to know the score. And that's why we have the boundaries. That's why we have the values. Because values show you, how am I winning at life? Mm-hmm. Because if you don't have values, then you don't know.
Yeah.
And so what we do is we're going to go to the default, which is money. Mm-hmm. Am I making money? Am I making more money? Do I have a bigger toy than my neighbor? Mm-hmm. And that's where a lot of guys are. You get a new car, they get a new car. You get a new grill, they get a new grill, or vice versa. And we kind of start letting those things keep score for us. But when you have a set of values, you have a scorecard. You have a way of going, I'm doing pretty good. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're not making the most money, but you're making the most memories. Mm. And that's part of your value. And that's what we have to understand as men. Keeping score is important to us, so find the right way to do it, and that's values.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you just, if these guys get that, I mean, it's a done deal because being able to have a scorecard is so freeing. Mm-hmm. It really is. To be able to say, no, I didn't do X, Y, and Z. Let's use the car example. Somebody's like, hey, what kind of car you got? And let's say you got a beater. It's just trash.
Yeah.
It's like mine. You have the undercarriage zip tied to the car.
Yep.
And I'll tell you guys the truth. I don't give a rip about cars. Mm-hmm. I just don't. I don't value them. Like I value them as a thing to take me from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And that's what matters. And I want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to listen to music. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's all I care about. So I don't feel the pressure of like, I got to get a good car so that when people ask me about it, I can feel confident to tell them that I have whatever vehicle would make them be impressed. I don't care. Mm-hmm. And so I don't feel the pressure to try and do that. And your values can do that for you in all these other areas of life.
Yeah.
Maybe the grill's a good example, or your lawn. I doubt your lawn's going to be a value. It may be, and if it is, go for it. If you love it. But if it's not, you don't have to feel the pressure of your neighbor who's literally outside every single day doing that. You don't have to compete because, you're playing football. I'm actually playing tennis.
Yeah.
That's what I'm focusing on. So
Yeah.
I don't have to do your football workout because
Yeah.
I'm focusing on tennis here.
Yeah.
It gives you the freedom to play your own game,
Yeah.
the one that God wired you to.
Yeah. And you decide what's important to me. And then you have a way of keeping score in that.
Mm-hmm.
To where if someone else says, hey, you don't have this type of car. Nope, I don't. I also don't have a payment.
Yep.
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Because that's important to me. To the other guy, the car may be his hobby. It may be what he does. It may be the way he tinkers, uses his hands, and maybe the way he connects with other people. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's your thing. It's not my thing.
Yep.
So what we're saying is you want to find your way to keep score. Mm-hmm. And values help you know that I'm keeping score the right way. Because if you don't, then you'll start keeping score in ways that aren't good. It may be just all about money, to where you use people up, you spit them out because it's all about making money. It may be about conquest, just having sex with as many women as possible so you can brag to your bros about it. Well, those aren't good values, and they're going to lead to an empty life is what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Values make sure you're picking things that fulfill your life, that give meaning to life, that give purpose to it, and it's a way for you as a man to influence others in a positive way.
Yeah.
When you live out your values, you're helping other people have the courage and empowerment to live their values out.
Yeah. Now, values do force you to decide.
They do.
You have to face the reality between what you care about and what you kind of care about. Mm-hmm. You have to face the reality between how you want to live and how you are living.
Yeah.
Let's say health is one of your values. It should be in some way. And you realize you're not living in line with that at all. That's going to hurt up front.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, dang, my score on that is 0.
Yeah.
I haven't worked out since I was in high school or whatever.
Yeah.
But now you know where to go from here. Mm-hmm. You know how to move forward. Because the beauty about values, it's not about the outcome of today. Mm-hmm. It's about your input today.
Yeah.
Values are not about the outcomes of your day. They're about the inputs of your day. Mm-hmm. You may not be the weight you want to be right now. Mm-hmm. But today you exercised and ate right.
Yeah.
You can check that box off.
Yeah.
It's about your actions, your decisions, your attitude, your responses. Mm-hmm. It's not about all the other factors.
Yeah, well, it's like we said a few weeks ago. It's about those little daily decisions. Victory in life is not just the big decisions. Sometimes you have to make the big decisions, but the big decisions are made up of your little decisions. And when you have your values set, it kind of gives you that pathway for the little decisions. Mm. What's important on this Monday? What's important on this Tuesday? And when you begin living those decisions out every day, the big decisions will come. The victories will come. The blessings will come through it because you're making the right decisions, the small right decisions. Just like diet we talked about. If you make the right nutrition choices daily, the right exercise choices, eventually you're going to see that weight go down. You're going to see your body composition change, and you're just going to feel better. You're going to sleep better. All these things are going to happen because you're making the little daily decisions. And that's what values help you do. When you know this is my value, you know what the scorecard is, then at the end of the day, you said, yep, I did it. Like you said, I checked the box. And that's going to help you find a lot more good stuff in your life and not sit there and wonder, am I doing enough? Well, I don't have a car like so-and-so, and then you put yourself down. You don't want to do that.
Yeah. Values shift your attention from how the day went to how you went through the day.
Nice. Say it again. Say it again.
Values shift your attention from how the day went to how you went through the day.
That's good.
The day may have sucked.
Yeah.
Maybe your kid was sick, threw up all over the floor. Your wife is exhausted because she didn't get any sleep last night and she's angry at you. And at work, they threw a surprise project on you.
Yeah.
Maybe the day went tough. But your values, maybe a value is to be a good father. So you go get medicine for the kid. And you are there with them in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Maybe the value is being a good husband. So you say, hey, babe, let me watch the kid. You go take a nap.
Yeah.
Maybe at work, you say, hey, guys, I know I've got this project. but I got to go home right now to take care of the family because
Yeah.
that's your value. Well, even though the day itself was rough,
Yeah.
you navigated that day well. So
Mm-hmm.
that day, your score that day, though you feel like
Yeah.
it may be a 0,
Yeah.
it was a win.
Yeah.
You won the game of the day. That's the power of values.
It is. That's true.
It shifts from your focus from what's outside your control to what is inside your control.
Mm-hmm.
And that's empowering.
Yeah, it is. And so what we want you guys to do is to begin to implement values in your life. Now, maybe you've never done it. Maybe you think, Dave, that's just stuff that's way up here, and I just don't want to think about that. Well, the reality is you want to go up here in your thoughts, but values help you to bring the up here down to your everyday.
Yep.
And so we want to help you do that. That's why we've created the Values Starter Kit. And it's a free PDF you can download. And what it does is it has some exercises on there that you can go through to help you figure out your values. Now, these are exercises we've done with real guys in real situation. We did it with our Vanguard, which is our community. And we did it with them. These are just a few of the ones we did. They got all of them. But we're going to give you a couple of them free because we want you to begin to live your values out. Because as you do that, one, you'll be able to keep better score in your life. You'll be able to know, am I doing all right? Am I living okay? Values help you know, yes, I'm doing the right thing. And also values help you know, where do I put my energy?
Mm-hmm.
What do I do with this life I have? It helps you do that. So we encourage you, go to the website, thrivingman.com, get the Value Starter Kit. We believe it's going to help you. And if you need help or if you have questions, message us on social media. Let us know. Make comments on the video below or on the podcast. We'd be more than happy to help you with where you're at in your life.
Yeah. We want to live our own lives according to our values.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to connect you with your values so that you can do the same. If we all did that, if we all prayerfully examined our lives,
Yeah.
and said, Lord, how did you design the world and how did you design me?
Mm-hmm.
What matters? And then you actually live your life by the things that he tells you, you're going to be way ahead of the curve.
Yeah, definitely.
Way ahead. And so our prayer for you is that you are going to go through it, you are going to embrace it,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps you. So do that, download that kit, join the Vanguard if you want to, and we will see you next episode.
Thanks for listening to the Thriving Man Podcast. If you want to check out more resources from David and Reese, you can go to thrivingman.com. We'll see you in the next episode.